Hello and welcome to a Talmud Israeli production. Today we will review the highlights of this week's course of Daf Yomi study. Masechet Eruvin Daf Kuf Hey 105, which is the last page of the Masechet, and then the new tractate Masechet Pesachim, pages 2 through 7, Bet through Zayin. 105 of Eruvin. Tanu Rabbanan. Hakol nichnasin baheichal livnot uletaken ulahotziat hatuma. Anybody can enter into the sanctuary building of the Beit HaMikdash in order to do construction work, to do repair work, or to remove a source of impurity. However, mitzvah b'kohanim, there is a preference that it be done by a kohen, because generally speaking, only kohanim are allowed into the sanctuary building, and we would rather not have to compromise our genealogical standards for construction work. Im ein sham kohanim, however, if no kohanim are available to do this work, nichnasim leviim, then we'll send a Levi in to do this kind of job. Ein sham leviim, if there are no Leviim to do the work, nichnasim Yisraelim, we'll send in a regular Jew, a regular Yisrael. Masechet Pesachim, first page, Daf Bet. Me'ematai arba asar asur b'asiyat malacha. When on the 14th of Nisan is it forbidden to do labor, to do malacha? Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, or Mishat Or. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says from the time of Or, whatever that Or means. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Mishat Netzachama, whereas Rabbi Yehuda says it's from the time of sunrise, Netzachama. Amar le Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov le Rabbi Yehuda. So Eliezer ben Yaakov, who had said Or, said to Rabbi Yehuda, V'chi hechan matzinu. Yom shemiktato asur b'asiyat melacha, miktato mitar b'asiyat melacha. Where do we ever find that part of the day is permitted to do work, and part of the day it is forbidden to do work? In your opinion, you allow from the beginning of the day, whether the night before or the crack of dawn, up until the sunrise, for work to be done, and you forbid after sunrise. So it's illogical. Why should we distinguish between part of the day and another part of the day? Amar le, so the response was, no, that very self-same day will prove the point. That part of the day you're allowed to eat chametz, and part of the day you're forbidden to eat chametz. When are you allowed to eat chametz? The night before, of the 14th of Nisan, and in the day of 14th of Nisan for the first 4 hours of the day. Then, once you get into the 5th hour, and after Chatzot, according to Torah law, you are forbidden to eat chametz. So just as there is a distinction when it comes to eating, so too there can be a distinction within the day with respect to the permissibility of doing work. Daf Gimel. The Gemara tells a story of a non-Jew who bamboozled the Jewish community, fooled them into thinking that he was a Jew, and they allowed him to participate in the Paschal sacrifice, the Korban Pesach. Hahu Arama, there was a certain Aramean, which may just be a word for Gentile, he would go up on pilgrimage with a group of pilgrims and eat of the Paschal lamb in Jerusalem. He laughed and he mocked the Jews of the diaspora by saying to them, look, it says in your Bible, a non-Jew is not allowed to eat of the Paschal lamb. An uncircumcised person cannot eat of the Paschal lamb. And yet, ana ka'achli mishufri shufri, I eat the choicest meat. So here they think I'm Jewish, and I fool them, and I get away with it. This is what he tells the Jews of the diaspora. Amali Rabbi Yehuda ben Betera, mikasafulach ma'alya. So Rabbi Yehuda ben Betera, having been told by this Gentile that he's fooling the Jews, Rabbi Yehuda ben Betera had a trick up his sleeve. He said, well, did they give you the tail? You should ask for the tail. And the next year, what happened? This Gentile went for the Korban Pesach, and he asked for the tail. The trouble is that the tail is not kosher. We don't eat the tail. It's a forbidden portion that gets burned on the Mizbeach. And so they inquired of this person, this Aramean, who are you? What's your real story? And they found out that he was not Jewish, and that he had been fooling them. He had been lying to them all these years. And what they do, ketaluhu, they killed him. Now, why did they kill him? So some of the commentaries explain it's because this was after the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, and the Korban Pesach was still being done by a few individuals on the Temple Mount after the Korban, against the wishes of the government, and the Romans didn't really allow it. Maybe they turned a blind eye. But if this Gentile were to tell on them to the authorities, he could shut down the whole thing. And for that reason, they had to punish him in the most severe way. Daled. B'shah shebnei adam mutzim avatehem, when people are found in their homes, that is when we do the bidikah, the search for the chametz. So at night, people are home. In the daytime, people go to work. Therefore, that explains one of the reasons why the bidikah is at night. And also because a candle is more efficacious in giving light and providing illumination in the nighttime than it is during the daytime. Okay. Now, Hilkach, Haitzuvim Rabbanim, Loliftach Be'idna Be'urta, the late place in Agiyar Beitar. A Torah scholar should not begin to study his regular portion, his regular session of Torah studies on the night of the 14th of Nisan, lest he be drawn to his Torah studies and forget about the mitzvah of bedikat chametz, of searching for the chametz, and neglect to do the mitzvah. So it's best to do the mitzvah first, as soon as you have the opportunity, as soon as night falls on the 14th of Nisan, and then you'll do your Torah studies. Daf Hey. Tananami Hachi, a Braita tells us the following. On the first day, you have to remove the leaven from your home. So says the Torah. Well, what day is that, the first day? Is it referring to Yom Tov itself, the 15th of Nisan, the first day, meaning the first day of Pesach, or is it referring to the day before Pesach? Talmud the Torah tells us you shall not slaughter the Paschal lamb on the chametz, meaning you cannot own chametz when the hour of permissibility of the slaughter of the Paschal lamb has arrived, which means that the removal of the chametz, the Yom HaRishon, the Barishon, cannot mean the 15th of Nisan. It must mean the 14th of Nisan, the day before Pesach. Daf Vav. Tanya, we learned in a Braita. Shoalin v'darshin b'hilchot Pesach, koron Pesach shloshim yom. We expound upon the laws of Passover and ask questions about the laws of Passover for 30 days prior to the holiday. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says, Bet Shabbatot, it's enough for 2 weeks. You don't need a full 30 days, 2 weeks is enough. What is the practical ramification of this? It means that when a rabbi is giving a shiur, a public discourse in Torah studies, and it's time for question and answer, that there is a strong preference for the questions to be related to this time of year, suitable for this particular moment. And so, if there's a question related to Passover observance, it has priority in the 30 days prior to Pesach. And it also helps us explain why Shabbat HaGadol Drasha is given and various shiurim are given in advance of Pesach for 30 days. Daf Zayin, page 7. Amar Rav Yehuda, Habodik tzarich shiyavarach. When a person does the search for chametz, he has to make a blessing over this search. Now, you might have thought there's no blessing over the search because, in fact, what mitzvah is hereby being accomplished? Arguably nothing, because the mitzvah is to destroy the chametz and not own it at the forbidden hour. The search is a preparatory act to lead to the possibility of burning the chametz. But nonetheless, despite it being a preparatory act, still it gets the ball rolling on the biur, and thus we have to make a blessing, a bracha. What is the blessing? Mishmei de Rava levar chametz, mishmei de Rava biur chametz. So one approach was that it is al biur chametz, which is in fact the bracha that we say, and the other one was livaer chametz, which is not the winning text of the bracha. Ultimately, we say al biur chametz at the time of the b'dika. Everyone have a great week.